I can see you now. 1 second. Are we live? Let me check. Should be live. Should be live. 1 second. Are we?
Yeah, little token popped up and said we're live streaming, so it certainly looks like it.
Because on YouTube I can't see. 1 second to check Instagram. Okay, we're live. Hi traders, good morning. We're back with our weekly live trading session with Lachlan. We've been chatting a bit before going live, and it seems that the markets are a bit grumpy. We hope you're not. So I'm gonna leave you. Enjoy the session, and yeah, I'll be back soon. Enjoy.
Perfect, Celine. Thank you. Very good. So guys and girls, welcome. Welcome. I hope you're amazing. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Lockie. I'm going to grab your chat function for you. We were, guys, just having a powwow. We use market volume. Guys, use market volume as an indicator as to how happy or angry the markets are. And suffice to say, they are angry today. There's no doubt about that. So markets are angry, guys and girls. So we're going to have a lot of fun. That's all that means. So I am going to grab our guys. Your chat function is up and running. Giuseppe, buongiorno. Good morning. I hope you're amazing. I hope you are amazing. Let me grab the share function. All right, so I'm going to share our little charts over here. We'll go for chart number 3. Okay, so in a perfect world, guys, in a perfect world, you'll be able to see my charts. Yes. No, sorry, wrong, not charts. You'll be able to see a PowerPoint presentation. I think we're bopping along. We're bopping along. Now we've started, guys. So again, thank you to TTP, guys. Thank you to the Trading Pit and Celine for getting us started this morning. We have started a couple of minutes early, quite deliberately. The markets are quite volatile. As now, that being said, we came out with a UK forecast. Danielle, how are you? I hope you are fantastic. Guys, the volume that came out, or guys, the volume in the market at the moment, normally when we start our trading session, it's about 40 to 45,000. At the moment, the volume is sitting at 91,000. So the markets are very angry. Europe has woken up, guys, to a very, very bad UK economic forecast. So as a result, as may I suggest, I think we're in for a bumper day. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to run through these, guys. I'll run through these slides for you. Now we do this because we are going to be, guys, not only sharing this on YouTube, it's going out on a number of different social medias. People are located, guys, in many different territories around the world. So last week, guys, it looked like we had around about 75 to 80 traders in the actual Zoom meeting here with us, guys, but up to 80 traders online as well from lots of different jurisdictions. So slowly but surely, guys, the reputation of the session is growing, which I think it's exciting because it's an opportunity for everybody to learn this beautiful game, guys, this beautiful game called trading. So we'll run through, and I say game, guys and girls, I say game. I use that expression a lot. The reason being is ultimately trading is a game of who can stay disciplined and patient long enough to make money, right? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, that being said, guys, we will be trading futures and CFDs today. What does that ultimately mean? Guys, I do need to mention primarily four things, guys, as we lead into trading. First and foremost, there's a risk of making money and also losing money. Guys, every time you take a trade, we must understand that, again, there's risk in trading, and we're going to do our best to control that today. Because we are going to be trading CFDs, guys, and futures. Martin, how are you? I hope you're fantastic. Because we are trading CFDs and futures today, guys, we are going to be trading on margin. That means that our wins can be quite large. Our losses can also be quite large. So once again, there'll be a focus on professional risk control. As the information that we're going to do in the presentation tonight, again, is general information only. Also, the past performance of any financial product can no longer be used as a reference for future performance, which is a little bit of a shame because we're going really well, guys. Going really well. Suffice to say, we're going to have some really good trades today, guys. We'll be able to reflect on those, and we can have a lot of fun. There's no doubt about that. Now, another point, guys, market risk factors. So hello, everybody that's logging in. I hope you are amazing. It's because we are not only communicating over the internet today, but we're also trading over the internet. As there are additional what we call market risk factors. Now, these factors ultimately are internet speed and similar things. So what I will do is I will do my best to guide you in and out of the market as best as I possibly can. We'll talk about why a trade is very, very good. We'll talk about the pros and cons of each trade. Most importantly, ladies and gents, what I'm going to be doing today is giving you an RCP or a risk control point. Now, typically what we do when we're trading, as even in my own personal trading, I have a very, very tight risk control point and a long range target on every trade that I take. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing again today. As we'll use now. Typically, we've got KPIs for each of the markets. I'll talk to you about that when we get into the markets, but suffice to say, as we will be going to reduce our risk quickly and let our profits run. As I've been doing that since 2009, and we're now, dare I say, getting quite good at doing that. So that could be good fun. Now, who am I, guys? Really, really quickly, I'm the lead educator with Samurai out of Singapore. Guys, I got invited to join Samurai in September last year. Guys, and I jumped at it. Really, really lovely team, really, really good fun, and it's really lovely, guys, to be based. Guys, effectively, I'm based in Japan. As we work out of Singapore, and that has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, for those that know the Australian Army badge, I did spend 15 years in the Australian Regular Army, so I did spend a lot of time overseas. I did multiple combat tours overseas. As a result, I'm pretty straight. As if you don't mind the pun, I'm a bit of a straight shooter. What does it ultimately mean? Guys, we bring that level of discipline and that level of strategy development into the game of trading, and that has been a very, very good thing as well. Now, that being said, what we're going to focus on primarily, ladies and gents, again, the strategy we're going to be trading today was developed in 2009 by me. Now, the reason I wrote the strategy is because effectively we had no decent quality trading schools in Australia. There were no good ones. May I suggest at this point in time, guys and girls, that may still be the same. So again, being based in Singapore, I get to not only hang around some very, very big trading schools, but some very, very successful traders, guys, some very successful traders. So guys, and again, if you hang around successful traders, eventually you do, tend to you learn tips and tricks, and as a result, you get very good at what you do. What I started to do in 2009 was let the market do the heavy lifting. So I was constantly trying to second guess what the market was going to do. And I eventually realized that you're far better off, letting the market create the signal for you than taking advantage of that particular signal. So we're going to focus on 4 things today. They're the ones that are highlighted ultimately in red. So CSA stands for candlestick analysis. So what that does mean, ladies and gents, for those that are joining us for the first time, we use technical analysis for basically every single trade we take. So we are pure price movement traders. What we do is we then layer indicators over the top of that to actually confirm that we're making the right decision. As all the way down to number 10 there, we use the ratio of the candle, which is again a pure price movement strategy, as we use the dominance of the candle to basically determine, are we going to buy or are we going to sell? And guys, we use ABC and stair-step in the market to ultimately work out what the institutional traders will be thinking. All right, now our chart layout when we get in today will be as displayed on the screen for you there. Most importantly, as the bottom charts there are really, really good for trading, but ultimately they're reference charts for the top charts. Guys, very, very easy to trade the NASDAQ well if you know what the S&P is doing, and very, very easy to trade the FDAX well as if you know what the FESX is doing. Okay, now, as what to expect today, effectively, this is the European Open. Now, we do run 2 live trading rooms. So as we do run 2 live trading rooms, one for the European Open and one for the US Close. What to basically expect. Guys, today, as I mentioned to you as we came in, the volume is quite high today. So we're going to pick up on the higher side of trades. So normally we pick up around about 12 to 15 trades. I'd suggest today, guys, we're going to get a lot more than 12 to 15 trades. Now, that can be interpreted 2 ways. First and foremost, people go, wow, it's going to be exciting. I'm going to get a lot of trades. That's the first interpretation. The second interpretation is the market is going to generate a lot of good trades for us today. So you can be very, very selective about the trades you take, guys, with the intent of maintaining a 100% strike rate, as with the intent of building a really, really good psychology around trading. As also when the markets are moving quickly like they are today, as you might find that entering statically, which means you wait for the candle to close and then you make a decision on the candle, you might find that that is going to be easier to trade, particularly if these markets melt down, which I do believe they're about to. Now, what we will do, guys and girls, we spoke about risk control point earlier. What I'll do is I won't put people into trades where we can't achieve at least the 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, because please be advised that the 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio thing is about 25 years old. It was good at the time, there's no question, but we can actually take that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio far beyond just 1-to-1. Now, US close, guys, it is a lot busier in terms of they get a lot more trades. Which is really, really good fun. Suffice to say, they're only looking at 2 markets. Today, we're going to be looking at 4. And the reason being is the format of the charts today normally results in a very, very high strike rate. Now, what is the live trading room? What is the live trading room for? Ultimately, we're just going to support you in your education journey around the world. But there's a lot of people, guys and girls, that will be focused today on money first. So it's all about profit in the LTR, and how we can actually guide you in and out of the signals as per the education strategy and courses that we use. So it'll be profit first, guys. Time in charts. Please be advised there will be people in the charts today that have been here. Guys have been working with me for at least 12 years. Guys, as a result of that, you may see some very, very big results coming into the market, guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if a number of traders have already finished, because the Asian volatility today was really, really good fun. Now, we do focus, guys, on a 90% strike rate. And again, we will do that again today. Very, very rarely do we get caught on the wrong side of the market. Guys, and every day I do put a video out on YouTube. Guys, that's Samurai Day Trading. I put out videos on tips and tricks and how to do things. Guys, one of the popular video series that I put out over the last couple of weeks is actually how to trade the gold market. So gold is a really, really awesome market to trade. And with all the interest in gold, guys, so people buying and selling gold and similar things, as gold is becoming easier and easier to trade. As I've said in the video that I've got for you there, the gold strategy I'm actually looking at again is from 2009, 2010, and it's still working very, very well. Now, some personal considerations, if I can. The best trade for you guys is the one that makes most sense to you. If you're brand new to the session, please just watch, listen, and learn. We're going to do this every Thursday. So it's a good opportunity to find out more about what we do. As a number of people in the session last week decided they wanted to join us Monday through Friday, guys. So if you do decide you want to join us, guys, every day of the week, then all you need to do is go to the Samurai website and subscribe to the live trading room if you would like to do that. That naturally gives you access, guys, also to the US close live trading room. Now, if you're an experienced trader, guys, you're welcome to basically take whatever trade basically ticks your trading plan. I'm gonna try and steer you as best as I can at the intermediate and advanced levels. And guys, if we get a really, really good buying signal today, which it's highly likely, if these sellers run out of steam, they are definitely running out of steam. As on the US markets, if the sellers run out of steam on the European markets, as we could pick up some really, really lovely long-range buy signals today. Right. So if you are in for a bit of an adventure, Eddie, how are you? If you're in for the in for a bit of an adventure, guys, please, 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 please go for long-range targets to the high side. The FTAX is actually producing really lovely buy signals as we're talking. Now, that being said, guys, we are going to seek to maximize our profit on every single trade. So watch out for that. I will give you an RCP and risk control point, as in we rock and roll from there. Just hold on 1 second. Let me just grab a sip of water. So we've got reversal signals occurring, guys. Buying signals occurring right now on, there you go, Keith. Buying signals occurring, guys, on the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the FTAX. Guys, so we're in for a really good session. Guys, last point, if a trade does require too much risk, so if you're not happy to take a trade that I'm taking, please don't take it just because I talk about it. Guys, you've got to be really, really comfortable with the risk on the trade, guys, if you are going to be, if you're going to be really, really successful at actually managing that trade. Now, guys, I put a book out recently called Brokers Exposed. Basically explains why we are futures traders as opposed to anything else. So if you want that, guys, it's available to download from the Samurai website. I've already spoken about YouTube, guys, Samurai Day Trading, and the Instagram we're using is i.love.trading. That's an Instagram Instagram account I've had since the start of my journey as an Instagrammer. So I'm putting up tips and tricks and other things on Instagram for you, getting everybody moving in the right direction. So what I'll do, guys, I'll just move away from that. I'll move away from that PowerPoint. Let me just push some buttons in the background. And in a perfect world, as you should be able to see charts. And if you can see charts, then we are definitely heading in the right direction. What I'll do, ladies and gents, if you don't mind, I'll turn my camera off only because the camera position can sometimes actually copy over the top of the FTAX. All right, so what I'm going to do Guys, we'll get into trading mode. Let me turn that camera off. I'll turn it back on towards the end of the session. So what we are dealing with today, as per the chart layout I was talking about before, bottom left-hand corner is the S&P 500. The top left is the Nasdaq, top right is the FDAX, guys, and the bottom right is the European FESX. Now, at the moment, guys and girls, the FESX is the biggest market in the world, guys, biggest market in the world in terms of futures markets by volume. And today it is very, very angry. So we're going to have to watch this very, very closely. Now, start down the bottom left-hand corner, as we typically do. As for the S&P 500 traders, if we do sell down, guys, if we do sell down much lower, we've got this very, very strong 60-minute long signal occurring on the S&P 500. So if these guys do sell down a little bit further, guys, and we can't punch through this little price level here, right there, if we can't punch through that, as we're looking for long range, long signals. Now, please be advised, as just below that is the 50 fib of the day. What does that ultimately mean? These sellers may be attracted to touch the 50 fib of the day before then turning around and going back the other way. Okay, now you can see how jumpy the market is. As those black diamond deltas on the FDAX there, if I was trading the FDAX now, I don't trade the pre-market, which is right now, but if I was trading the FDAX, as I would be entering those black diamond deltas. I'll talk about black diamonds in a second. Now, we've got interesting point. We've got a weak 60-minute long on the S&P 500. We've got a stronger 60-minute long. If we go much below the 50 fib of the day, guys, on the S&P 500, the markets are likely to fall for a little while, maybe 25 to 30 minutes before they find a new resistance and support level, guys, and then we might pick up a reversal. So as we came into the session last week, guys, we were talking about long range longs and short range shorts. Now, I do believe we're still in the same boat, that we're going to pick up longer range buy signals than sell signals, unless, and this is where it's difficult to forecast, unless Europe decides it's going to run. Now, Steve has put a really, really good point. 19976. So 19976. On the Nasdaq is all the way down here. As they do have a gap to close, 19976. Okay, so it's a long way away. But every time I say that, the market goes there. All right, so gap to close. So if the Nasdaq does decide, guys, we just put that as a little bit of a warning, guys, if we do get down there. If the Nasdaq does decide it wants to run, as it does want to run to the downside, it could run a long way, particularly if the S&P 500 breaks through these two potential signals. Now, mind you, battling against that, the S&P 500 has come into the European pre-market, guys, in a 60-minute short. I'll just double check that. 100% correct, guys. We're in a 60-minute short, so therefore we're going to have to watch ultimately for a sell down, right, to this really, really strong little signal here. Okay, so again, very, very similar. It's very, very similar price movement to yesterday. As the volume, just for those that watch the volume is currently 95,000. Normally in this session, it's 40 to 45,000. So we are in for a volatile session. There's no doubt about that. Now, there's a little bit of a tip, guys and girls, if I can. I've put up on the Nasdaq here, watch for the volatility. Now, again, as at the moment, the volatility, this indicator over here gives us the relative volatility of the market. As typically, we're sitting at sort of low 40s to high 30s on the Nasdaq in this session. It's currently at 64. As if these guys get a wriggle on, it's going to go over 100. So all that means, guys, is we're going to start to look for longer range targets, but we've got to be careful about the risk that we're carrying into the market. Now, I do believe, guys, if Europe doesn't get a really lovely wriggle onto the high side, if we don't see some really strong buyers coming in, I do believe we're in for a bit of a meltdown. Okay, now again, the markets are angry. As why is that? The UK came out yesterday with some very, very bad economic outlooks. Europe has basically come out with a similar thing. So there's a lot of people in Europe that are very concerned about the UK economy, very concerned about the general European economy. suffice to say, may I suggest, if it starts falling, it's going to be very impressive, like yesterday, guys. Yesterday was incredible to trade. If you do want to see yesterday, guys, if you didn't see yesterday on the European markets, it's the latest YouTube short video on the YouTube channel. Now, guys, what I'm going to do here for the new traders, what I want to highlight, guys, for the new traders, if I can, we're going to be looking for multi-market agreement. So if you're brand new to trading, guys, not only are we going to enter statically, right? So statically, it means we're going to wait for the candle to close and then we're going to put our entry on. But for the NASDAQ traders, we're going to be looking for an agreement between the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, right? Now, that's what we did yesterday. As much as it did limit the number of trades that the beginner traders got, we also got some great trades. Now, the flip side, the experienced traders yesterday who enter the market dynamically, that means you basically are not waiting for the candle to close. You're trading in the middle of a candle. As we picked up a lot of signals for the slightly more experienced traders yesterday as well. Okay, now, guys, what I want to do, moving across to Europe, if I can, as the FDAX is at a point right now, guys, there's a lot of very, very strong long signals right here at a price level of 830. So there's a lot of institutional interest to buy the market back at 830. Now, what does this ultimately mean? Guys, it means that, I'll get to this little bigger one in a second. What does it ultimately mean? If we were to sell down, as if we were to sell down on open and fail at this large series of Fibonacci extensions, which I'll break up for you in a second, if we were to fall down and fail, then we're looking for some really lovely longs. Now, there is an indicator, guys, built into the chart here. There's two that I want to talk about. There's the climactic volume indicator, which is an extreme volume indicator, right? So if the sellers open the market and turn the candle orange, guys, like they've done there, and it's an extreme volume indicator. Now, what it means is that the sellers are using way too much volume on the opening candle, and it's likely that other people around the world are going to lose confidence in what they're doing. So if you're going to trade the opening candle on FDAX, a lot of traders will wait for the candle to change color before they then look for where the market is failing, before they then look to take a trade. If you're new to the FDAX, guys, or you're just getting used to what we do, then don't trade the opening candle of the FDAX. It can be a little bit crazy. Guys, can be a little bit crazy. Now, for the slightly more experienced traders, I want you to keep a very, very close eye on that green dotted little Fibonacci extension there. Let me take the note off for you. This bottom one down here, guys, that bottom one down here, and this top one up here. Again, let me break it up for you. That's the 100% fib extension. Guys, let me get rid of that one and I'll bring this one back on in a sec. This is the 100% fib extension off the 4-hour chart. Guys, they've sold down today and basically they're getting caught at the 133. Normally they will tag the 141.4 before them reversing. Now, the fact that these guys look like they're failing, as they look like they're failing, Damsey, how are you? It looks like the, just hold on as I say that for the FTX traders, NASDAQ, you've just sold down to the 50 fib, right? So this is where we were basically saying, if they sell down to the 50 fib and they can't go down, you guys are going to be generating buy signals on European Open, which is only around about 7 or so minutes away. Right, I see the FTX is already moving. Now, if you are a little bit, guys, if you are a little bit creative and you have entered any of these black diamond deltas, okay, that all of those three signals there, that's basically an AI algorithm running behind the charts for us. It's basically telling us that these are all buy signals. So what it means, if the market sells down on the opening candle and they fail at these 133 fibs or these bigger fibs down here, if they do push down and fail, as any of those black diamond signals are going to be really, really good. As what we're looking for ultimately, if you're experienced, you're going for a 5 or 10 point target. If you're not, if you're super experienced, as what you're going to be doing is getting the buy signal and trying to hold it for 15 minutes, please. You're going to try and maximize your profit on those trades. Now, as if we do come up on the European markets, there's effectively what I refer to as a market break point here. So the market has basically just broken itself and fallen away. If we do get back up there and we can't get back above the break point, the market is going to fall again really, really hard. So we may be looking at 2 falling events today. Right? So 2 events where the market basically goes, you know what, it's too hard, and they turn around and they go back the other way. And I'm just going to sweep for some microphones. I'm just going to turn some microphones on quickly. So Andy, your microphone is on. I hope you are well.
Yep.
I hope you are well.
G'day, Lockie. G'day, everyone.
Hello, hello. Now, as I'm just turning on the backup moderators, guys are very, very good at what they do. Damsey, you're online and ready to rock and roll. So if they see something that I can't see, guys, they will jump in and say, "Hey, Lockie, you've missed this or you've missed that." Guys. I think one of the beauties of the live trading room is we get to work together. Guys, the goal is to make as much money as we possibly can. Let's be super clear about that one. Super clear. Now, if the FDAX, guys, if the FDAX does get back above this market break point, if it does get above the break point, then ultimately we are looking for, if we do get above the break point, guys, there's a 15-minute long. That means they're going to go for the gap. Guys, so again, there's a lot of evidence that suggests if these guys sell down first, they're probably going to turn around and go back the other way quite quickly. Now, with the FESX, guys, FESX is ultimately in charge of what we do in this session. Now, that brings up a great point. As for anyone out there in the world, as we run a free with no obligation, we run a trader support webinar, guys, on the fourth Thursday of every month, which is tonight. So if you do want to come along, guys, again, on the front of the Samurai website, there are two events there. The right-hand side says basically join us for our global trader support meeting. Guys, tonight we're interviewing a really, really successful trader that's been in the game for a long time. So it's a really good opportunity to reflect on what it takes to be a really good trader and just listen to other people that are quite good at trading, guys. And we're also going to do some chart analysis out of the session from tonight. As the subject is stair stepping. Now, as much as that's a very, very simple subject, almost everything we do today is based on stair stepping. So if you can spare about 45 minutes or so, we're going to be running that hub meeting, that support meeting, the hub meeting later tonight. If you are going to trade a little bit later on, Tokyo time, there's two very, very high impact red flag news announcements, right? So very, very high impact news announcements at 9:30 p.m. tonight. As we did predict a very big drop in the markets yesterday based on a 4-hour short and the markets tanked. Guys, today, if we come down the bottom here, we're in exactly the opposite scenario. Guys, exactly the opposite. So if we do get an early buying opportunity, guys, on any of the markets on display, if we do get an early buying opportunity, it's probably going to go very, very well. Now, a little bit of a warning sign. As if that early buying opportunity kind of tries to take off but can't go anywhere, like these black deltas here on the FDAX, guys, if they can't push the market up really aggressively, then we may be looking at a meltdown scenario. And if so, we're going to be focusing on the strong, guys, the really, really strong selling candles. Now, on the daily chart, guys, this is what we were talking about yesterday in the trading room about a big sell down, guys. So there's our beautiful break and sell down. So exactly that's occurred. I do believe, guys, today we're going to pick up some really, really powerful buy signals straight off the bat, as I think we're actually going to be buying relatively quickly into the market. Now, not a lot of information here, guys, on the weekly chart, other than we were expecting 3 weeks worth of buying, guys. We've had our 3 weeks worth of buying. Now we're effectively looking at potentially 3 weeks worth of selling, guys, which could take us a long way to the downside. Again, long way to the downside may not happen tonight, guys, because our average trade is around about 12 to 15 minutes, guys, on the NASDAQ and under 7 minutes on the FDAX. It doesn't matter if they have a meltdown over the next 3 to 4 weeks. We're just going to jump in and out of the market constantly and run it down. The 60-minute chart on FESX, guys, 60-minute chart is actually looking quite negative. It's actually looking quite negative, as in I think they're going to sell it down. Let's have a look here. Yeah, they're going to sell it down after a really lovely little buy. So what we've got to be careful of, guys, coming into the open is the European traders are setting up what we call a swing trigger short. All right, so we're going to have to let that mature. I'm going to leave this on the 15-minute chart just to double check that, just to remind us that we're in a 15-minute short scenario. FDAX, what are you doing, darling? For the FDAX traders, guys, as we roll towards the open, may I suggest it's going to be all about letting this opening candle go climactic. So you want the color change in the candle, right? You want the color change in the candle, just like this orange one there. And then what we're looking for is if we do sell down, if we get stuck at the pre-market bottom, which is down here, or we get stuck at these Fibonacci's, then that black diamond delta there, guys, that one there is the entry is at 807, just to be super, super, super clear. Is at 807. If we were to sell down under 807 and the candle changes color, we're looking to go long. Steve, I'm watching the 4-hour charts. You're absolutely on the money. It's because the 4-hour charts are actually trying to trigger, as we talk about it, the 4-hour charts. NASDAQ has just triggered a 4-hour swing trigger short, guys, and the S&P 500 is trying to do the same. Okay, so we've got about 30 seconds, guys, 30 seconds till the market opens. At this stage, we'll keep our FESX on the 15-minute chart. We just want to watch what they do with this 15-minute swing trigger short. I really hope the FDAX comes back down again to pick up these black diamonds, guys. That's, as I said before, it's a delta indicator. It's showing us where the banks are positioning their orders. Look, they're already climactic. All right, so we'll let them come down, guys. We'll let them come down, with the intent of the opening candle going climactic. So we want the opening candle to go climactic before we take a trade. Okay, so let's just see, guys, what these guys do. Okay, so this opening candle has changed color now. Okay, this one. So I'm just positioning orders on the chart in the background. So let me just focus on this as best as I possibly can. Okay. Now let me just watch here. Averages there, 815, 807, 815. I'm very interested, guys, to see what happens with the market. Now, the NASDAQ has actually turned, guys, the NASDAQ has turned off the 50 fib of the day. That's exactly what we said it was going to do. It's turned off the 50 of the day very, very, very easily. It's very, very easily indeed. Now, with all of that said, if the FDAX turns, guys, if the FDAX turns and runs now, we are potentially in for a nice little buying session. Now, again, the black diamond, sorry for my distraction as I place trades into the chart. The black diamond delta there on NASDAQ, guys, a really, really lovely delta long. The higher delta is also valid for those that trade the deltas. As these black diamond deltas on the FDAX, as again, if you can enter the first one, it's really, really good. Nice. So here we go. We're off and racing. The first black diamond delta, guys, on FDAX is at 820. If you're long at 820, your first target is 825. Guys, if you waited for the color change to occur, then you picked up that black diamond delta, please, at 807. I want you to go for at least a 20-point target. Now, guys, I have physically traded, hence the distraction. I've physically traded this little delta here, guys. I physically traded that delta myself. Picked up 10 points across 2 contracts. So that puts me on my daily KPI, which I'm actually really quite excited about. It's kind of good fun. So again, making sure, guys and girls, opening candle traders, if you trade the opening candle, then again, you're well trained on how to do that. If you've taken the delta, guys, it's gone really well. If you don't trade the opening candle, please don't let me romance you into taking a trade. Now let's get some Fibonacci structure around this opening candle. Okay, awesome. The pre-market box traders, okay, just watch down here to see what they do. Another little note for those that are, Ahmed, how are you? I hope you're fantastic. For those that are just joining us, guys, for the FDAX traders, we don't take new trades, guys, in the last 90 seconds of the candle, please. All right, we don't take new trades in the last 90 seconds. And if you don't trade the opening candle, guys, you are literally waiting to see what this candle does. All right, let me move the arrow. These, we thought they were angry. Guys, they're very, very, very angry. So for the FDAX traders, your next entry, guys, your next entry for the FDAX traders, I'm just double checking everything is correct. I was changing ATMs in the background. All right, we'll go there. Perfect. If this is a bigger fish, oh wow. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is the meltdown we were talking about. So for the NASDAQ traders, you are highly likely to get what we call an efficient CORPC bar to the. Yep.
I've got 15-minute extension down where a daily extension is at 679, with the 15-minute extensions at a similar level with the 161 down there.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So Damsey, well done, guys. Damsey is in Australia. Damsey is in Australia. Okay, there's our extension. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciated. So for the NASDAQ traders, as you are highly likely to pick.
Same on an NQ 15-minute chart of preference.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Right. So NASDAQ traders, you are highly likely to pick up as a short here, but we're not going to get trapped in the short. All right. So NASDAQ traders, we're not going to short the NASDAQ. Okay. If the S&P 500 is into the 50 of the day, right? That is not a smart trade at all. So what we're looking for is we're actually looking for the sellers to sell down on NASDAQ. We want the sellers to sell down on NASDAQ. We want them to create a lower low, guys, and then we're looking for a delta buy signal going the other way. For the FTX traders, you're long off the S1, please. You've got a lower low here, so there's an S1 trade. Your entry is 2 points over the top of the S1. Guys, your entry's at 43. Your first target is 48, and your risk control point is 48. Now, if you've missed that FTX trade, guys, if you've missed the FTX trade, okay, we must let them create a brand new lower low, which they're currently doing. And then for the FTXs, we're looking for an entry long at 43. Okay, now note, guys, at this point in time, again, the sellers, if the S&P, guys, if the S&P sells down through the 50 fib, okay, we would normally take this NASDAQ short. The reason we would is because it's got a strength rating above the candle of 1. Okay, just here, we would normally go short on that. Guys, but because the S&P was into the 50 of the day, I didn't send you short. As because we generally don't trade the NASDAQ short if the S&P 500 is into a pivot or a really, really well-known psychological area. Now, for the FDAX traders, that 15-minute swing trigger short we were talking about on FESX, guys, is working like a charm. Okay, so that's brilliant. What it does mean, if we get back above, guys, back above the S1, there are FDAX traders that are looking for a long at 43, so 4.3. As if you can take a trade long at 4.3, your first target is 4.8. You've just gone through that. I would hope that the FDAX traders hold this for about 15 minutes if you can hold the risk. Now, for those people that don't want to trade dynamically, guys, you're going to wait for this candle to close, and then you're going to take the trade long. All right, now, ideally for the FTX traders, we're going to close back above the S1. There's a little green delta hiding in there at 745. So because that means if you're going to enter at 745, your first target is at 750. Guys, that is your risk control point. I would suggest you go for a 5-point first target, control your risk, and then we'll go for around 25 to 30 points. Just hold on one second. Okay, now extreme volume, guys, extreme volume candle on the FTX means that we're on the buy side of the market, not the sell side. There's the black diamonds coming in. So again, for the FTX traders, guys, if you have gone long at 43, your first target is 48, guys, and that's your risk control point. Guys, if you've gone long on the delta at 45, it's already gone and hit its risk control point. If these sellers fail on the FTX, guys, and it looks like they're failing badly, so Damsey's Fibonacci, guys, absolutely incredible. If we get a big punch of buyers, that black diamond delta, guys, is something we'd want to hold on to as long as we possibly can. All right, black diamond's on at 749. All right, now FTX traders, you've got a ton of different options there. Ton of different options. Again, you've just got to watch your risk. All right, got to watch your risk. Now, this annoys me, NASDAQ. We would normally be short under this candle. Oh, so the S&P was trading into a pivot. I didn't send you short. It looks like they're just plastering their pivots, which means that, again, we need to go for a slightly larger Fibonacci. Let me just do this for you. I have a sneaking suspicion, guys, it's going to be the 4-hour fibs that these guys are trading to today. All right, it's going to be the 4-hour fib. So let's be very careful. You guys are in the last 90 seconds. So no new trades, please. All right, let me just build some Fibonacci back. Now, I didn't send you long. I'm annoyed by that, guys and girls. I didn't send you long on the NASDAQ, and it's flown to the downside. That's all right. We'll pick up a ton of trades. So FDAX at this stage, you're going to get a loss of efficiency, but you're also going to close under the S1. Okay, you're going to close under the S1. If the FESX closes under the S1, guys, we can't buy the FDAX. We can only sell it until we get back above the S1. So 30 seconds until the markets tell us what to do. It looks like the NASDAQ, guys, is about to set up an absolutely stunning short. Okay. Okay, it looks like we're about to set up a stunning short on the NASDAQ. Okay, now how are we going to deal with that? Guys, what we need on the NASDAQ candle, all right, it's going to be an efficient CORPC bar. So that's an expression. We must see the green team first before we sell. Guys, now, again, what I'm looking for, guys, on the NASDAQ, it is a very, very strong selling signal. Okay, very strong selling signal. Guys, now, if you are going to sell underneath the candle or that Delta V2, guys, again, we're going to try and hold it for a Fibonacci extension target. I'd suggest down here is really, really, really smart. Guys, so you're looking at about a 50, 60, 70, about an 80 tick trade. Now, the deal with going short on the NASDAQ, guys, your risk control point is going to be around 20 ticks. Okay, now, again, I'm drawing this on for you there. That is your 20 tick risk control point. Guys, if they don't absolutely pummel these Fibonacci's here, okay, if they don't pummel those Fibonacci's, which I'd suggest they're going to have a go at, guys, we need to get through these Fibonacci's and run. The reason being is the S&P 500 is into yesterday's low. Because if the S&P 500 buys off yesterday's low, then the NASDAQ's going to do the same, right? So this is why we say to those that want to sell the market, you must get the green team showing. As you must, oh, look at this Fibonacci on FDAX. You're kidding, I turned away. So for those that know how powerful the 133 fib extension is, guys, on the FDAX, they've just turned off the 133 perfectly. I said, again, for the junior traders, we're going to wait for this candle to close. For the senior traders, if you trade off the 133, that is an incredible long signal, as I literally turned away. Now, for the NASDAQ, guys, again, we are watching for the buyers to show. They just have. Now the junior traders are going to be putting their orders on short. Guys, the reason being is we've got a Fibonacci retrace. So we draw our Fibonacci down the NASDAQ candle to catch them on the way. I'm back in. Sorry, guys, I just had Zoom wig out on me. So let me give you the charts back again. I'm going to talk you through that NASDAQ trade. So for those that are short on the NASDAQ, guys, you must control your risk at 20 ticks, please. All right, let me just grab the charts again. Sorry, literally, Zoom just wigged out on me. So I don't know why it did that. I'm watching the charts very, 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 very intently. So Nazi traders, if you can hold the risk, your short is okay. Promise me if they sell down, guys, if they sell down through the 20 tick mark, which they're trying to at the moment, if they sell down, guys, you must control your risk. Again, you're allowed to do whatever you want with your risk. But I would make sure, guys and girls, on the NASDAQ, I'm looking for a 20 tick first target, and then I'm cutting my risk off on all other trades. Okay, if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't matter. Shelton, you got 20 off the Delta. Well done. That's brilliant. For the FDAX, so guys, we've got charts back up, I trust. Thank you. Awesome. KPI's done, Dan. Well done. I'm at KPI as well, guys. So I'm already, I was on that European Open, so I'm already looking okay at this point in time. We are setting up, guys, for the European traders, we're setting up long range longs. Those long range longs, we just need these guys to sort themselves out. Now, NASDAQ traders, the risk on the trade is probably too much for a number of traders to be short. All right. So, and again, if you're waiting for a static entry, as we're waiting for this candle to close, these black diamond deltas, guys, at this stage, we're not trading them until we know the sellers have definitely finished. Okay. Now, let's just watch here, please. If you are short on the NASDAQ, guys, if you are short on the NASDAQ and you haven't gone through your 20 tick target, okay, if you have not gone through your 20 tick target already, I would suggest at this stage, S&P 500 traders. So let me go S&P, guys, and then we'll look at NASDAQ. These deltas, guys, these deltas are valid on the S&P 500. Okay, so you've got two there. What we're looking for is a sell down inside the next candle. Guys, in an entry long at 47.25 or 47.50. Okay, now for the NASDAQ traders, okay, you've just been given a static bar reversal long. So what it ultimately means is if the risk on this red candle is too much for you to go short, if the sellers sell back down, we're looking for a long on the NASDAQ going the other way. Now, the deal with the long on the NASDAQ, once again, guys, we must have tight risk control. We must have tight risk control. Now, I'm going to try and navigate this as quickly as I can. NASDAQ, so NASDAQ traders, that is a static bar reversal long. The delta black diamond at the top of the candle is at 20.040, right? If you've gone long, as you want a 20 tick first target and risk control point, it's gone through that 20 tick target already. So the market is moving very fast. It's moving very, very fast. Now, for those who can hold a large amount of risk, guys, on the selling side of the market, the sellers are highly likely to come back down again if these buyers fail, right? Highly likely to come back down. S&P, you've got the same signal as the NASDAQ, guys, which is a static bar reversal. So again, with the static bar reversal, if you have gone long on the S&P 500, guys, your first targets are 4s and 8s, and then you're going to go for whatever you can get your hands on. That black diamond little delta there, guys, the price is 49.25. That's your backup trade. Okay, well done. So everybody that can't carry a large amount of selling risk is long, which is really, really good. For the FDAX, again, that 133 fib extension is brilliant. If you traded the black diamond delta going the other way, massive well done. If you just waited for the sellers to retrace back down and got underneath that, then you're doing very, very well. Remy's got a long of 50 ticks on the NASDAQ, so well done. As if we close over the S1 on the FDAX in 3 minutes, then the junior traders, all of the junior traders in the world, we're going to be targeting that little delta there at 745, or we're going to be targeting an S1 reversal, guys, at 743. All right. Now, NASI traders, do I have anybody that is long on the NASDAQ for very long range targets because they couldn't hold the short because the short had too much risk? All right, so it's Eddie. I think Eddie is long. Eddie, if you are long, then again, guys, it comes down to, oh yes, well done, Eddie. It comes down to, guys, the S&P 500, and can the S&P 500 close over the 50 fib of the day? Right, so if we can't close over the 50 fib of the day, guys, for the S&P 500 traders, guys, the long-range buyers on the NASDAQ are not ready yet. Okay, so the long-range buyers are not ready yet. Cole, you got the short on, okay, so the short on NASDAQ, it has not stopped out yet. All right, so this is, so again, it's a great point. Guys, the risk on the NASDAQ must be hiding behind this candle. So the risk must be hiding behind the candle. And again, that means for some of you, guys, you won't be able to take the trade because there's too much risk. All right, now, Cole, if you've had a negative, then we'll just go and get it back, mate. So that's not an issue at all. That's the way the market moves. Because it's a good lesson. Again, so when we get a strong candle like this, the risk has got to be behind the candle. If the risk is too much, don't take the trade. We just wait for another trade and we'll go and get it all back. Okay. Now, again, as if this candle, all right, let me get rid of that one. If this candle ends up being a 4-point turning bar, guys, on the NASDAQ, which is highly likely, so highly likely, if the S&P 500 gets over the 50 fib of the day, guys, then we're looking for a long range long on the NASDAQ because the S&P 500 has given us permission to do that. So we've got around 50 seconds, guys, around 50 seconds until we make that decision. For the FDAX traders, again, guys, for the experienced traders, the market sold down, got back below that black diamond delta there. So if you have gone long again at 717, you've gone through at least your first target and risk control point. For the beginner traders, I want this candle to close over the top of the S1, which it's highly likely to do. So watch this 21 seconds, please. These black diamond deltas on NASDAQ, guys, are valid buying signals if you're very confident this candle is not burning volume, which it's not. And ultimately, what does it mean, guys? We're going to get a 4-point turning bar long on the NASDAQ. Okay, 4-point turning bar long. So FDAX. Okay, FDAX, you need the sellers to sell down. NASDAQ, you need the sellers to sell down a little bit, please. Guys, we want to get long. Your backup trade, guys, on the FDAX are those black diamond deltas. I really want these guys to sell back down a little bit and give you a safer entry. So, guys, this is the entry I'm looking for on FDAX down here. I need the sellers to sell down underneath that entry point and go long, guys. Or if you can hold the risk, the black diamond deltas on FDAX are valid. Now, NASDAQ, please come back down. As that is a 4-point turning bar on both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Guys, I want to be able to put the junior traders into the 4-point turning bar. Guys, now to do that, to put the junior traders into the 4-point turning bar, perfect. I need these guys to sell down under the entry point, guys, before you then put your entry point on the NASDAQ at 63.5, so 63.50. Now, be aware, guys and girls, if you're going to go long, your risk must be defined by this 4-point turning bar candle. So if you are going to go long, you can look for longer range targets. What I need the buyers to do, guys, I need them to break that green 50 Fibonacci there. Right, so if you have gone long, guys, over the top of the candle at 63.50, right, 63.50, we are, again, it's already gone through a 20-tick sort of first target and risk control point. So you would start to reduce your risk on the trade, but you're looking for a really long range target on this one. Right, so if we can get through that green 50, they're going to push to that 50 just there. Right, if we can push through to the next 50, then we're looking at a really good long range trade. Right, if they can't push through to the next 50, then everybody's going to control their risk on the long. Cole, if you had a negative, mate, FDAX, holy moly. Cole, if you had a negative, mate, we're going to try and go for 100 ticks long on this one to go and get all your loose change back again. As FDAX, we sold down to the S1, so that allowed everybody to go long, guys, at 43. The delta at 45 is paid. The backup deltas are now paying as well. If you're long on the FDAX, worst case scenario, guys, you've got a 5-point first target and a 25 to 30-point second target with no risk on the second target, please. Diane, well done. That's a beautiful trade. You waited for, Diane, hey presto, a static entry. Really important, guys, static entry. So FDAXs, if you've gone long, guys, over the top of the S1, well done. If you needed the extra confidence of the black diamond delta at 4.5, you've gone long there. Well done. If you've taken the delta here, guys, at 58, it's gone through its first target. If you've taken 59, it's gone through its first target. Right, so please, guys, until these markets work out what they're doing, please cut your risk really quickly on these longs until we know the market is definitely reversing. As if the market is definitely reversing, as we're in for a really good long range session to the high side. If they fail to sell up, guys, you can see how angry the markets are. It's going to sell down. Okay, now Again, guys, risk control lesson if I can. If the risk on the 4-point turning bar is too big for you, then all we do is we wait for the retrace, we wait for the rejection, and then we get into the trade, which means you've got around about 25 ticks at risk, guys, in order to go for 25, 30, 40, 50, la, la, la. So you're literally looking at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So if your risk, you see this 3 rating under the candle here, it's also mathematically a 4-point turning bar. So if the risk on the candle is too big, guys, wait for the retrace, wait for the rejection, then put your order on, and then you've got a far lower risk trade. Same for the FDAX. If you're trading off the S1, guys, sellers have sold down. So no new trades on any markets, guys, at this stage. Market sold down under the S1, picked up your delta there. Guys, you had around about 15 points at risk with the intent of making 5s and whatever you can get your hands on. And that's also gone quite well. Raymond, so Andy, well done. Diane, well done. Andy, Raymond, you're at KPI in 22 minutes. Not a bad day at the office. I think it's brilliant. Okay, so guys, at this stage, the buyers are failing dismally, but let's just see if they fail properly. So if I was long, guys, on the NASDAQ for long range targets, I would now bring my stop loss, guys, to positive so I can't lose any money on the long range. If the sellers sell back down again, we're going to pick up the longs and we're going to probably pick them up in an even better position. All right, so you're not going to miss out. Do I have any FDAX traders that are long off the S1 that are looking for longer range targets, please? All right, if you are looking for longer range targets, we can get rid of that Fibonacci now. If you're looking for longer range targets, guys, the 50 fib of the day. Yeah, thank you, MJ. Hope you're awesome. The 50 fib of the day for the FDAX traders is where the long range target traders would be pushing. That's where you would be pushing this market to. If you are off, guys, if you are off the S1 on the FDAX, guys, worst case scenario, you've picked up this one here at 4.5. Guys, it's already gone through its 25-point target. Okay, it's already gone there. Okay, Shelton, I'm done. KPI met on both accounts. You're going to dinner. That's very, very smart. Okay, now, so well done, everybody. Now, for the FDAX, again, we're going to wait for the sellers to really show properly, guys, before we pick up another trade. I need to see lower lows coming in, guys, so I want them down here and failing badly before we look for another long. For the NASDAQ, guys, again, same deal. We're going to let the sellers come down before we look for a long. So I want the sellers to come down before we look for a long. Everybody, guys, everybody needs to draw. I'll go to NASDAQ first, guys. It looks like you're going to go first. FDAX, you've got a lower low for an S1 reversal there. Guys, I want the NASDAQ to come down lower. Come on, lower, 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 please. I want these sellers to burn out. And then we're looking for... I mean, it would be incredible, guys, if the sellers sell down to the open and gave us an entry point with really low risk on that delta. We don't know yet. So please don't put a buy order on the deltas, guys. We're waiting for the sellers to push down. I need them to blow up their volume first before we look to join the buyers, all right? So we need the sellers to fatigue. We need the sellers to fatigue before we look for a long. FDAX, as I said, guys, your S1 reversal, guys, is back on again. So your S1 reversal's at 43. Your first target is at 48. So if you are an FDAX trader and you know what you're doing, guys, you've gone long off the S1 at 43. Your first target is 48. You've gone through that. Your next target is 53. You've gone through that as well. Guys, so you are, guys, if you are an experienced FDAX trader, you are long off the S1, guys, at 43. First target 48, and you can run that as long as you want, guys. You can long that as you can go as long as you promise me you've controlled your risk on your long range targets. So your risk to reward on FDAX, guys, if you're going for a 25-point target, your risk to reward is now 25 times in your favor at a minimum. Like that is the trade of the day. My gosh, that was easy. Okay. Black Diamond Deltas coming through on NASDAQ. I really wanted these guys to sell down a little bit further. Now, some of you may have seen the sell down on NASDAQ and re-entered the 4-point turning bar long. You may have re-entered that trade again if you've got experience. As if you didn't see that occurring while I was talking on the FDAX, we need the sellers to push back down underneath the entry point. We're going to try and hit it again. So they must sell down. As the risk on the trade is around about 80 ticks, so we do need to push a second target out around 80 ticks. Come on, off you go, please. I just want one more flash of selling, guys. I'm targeting that black diamond delta there at 63.75. I'm really looking for a bit of a sell down. Sellers are using a lot of volume. They're not impressing anybody at all. What does it mean, guys? Boom, there we go. If you are long on the delta, guys, at 63.75, or you went long on the 4-point turning bar, guys, if you went long on the 4-point turning bar again, please go for 20 ticks on your first target. Or if you've got a really, really long range target aspiration, just bring your stop loss to positive now so you can't lose any money on the NASDAQ. If these buyers push through the 50 fib of the day, notice if they push through the 50 fib of the day on both US markets, particularly the NASDAQ, this one's going to run to the high side. So again, if you've gone long on the 4-point turning bar, guys, or the black delta that's associated with that, you can see right there, or the institutional orders coming in over the top of these candles. I would suggest a 20-tick first target or a 20-tick risk control point and go for a really, really long-range target. I was making sure you got no money at risk. Andy, you've taken a 30. Giz, you've taken a 21. Have I got any FDAX traders long, guys, off the S1 for effectively the trade of the day? That was so simple. That one there was so simple, and it's given us 2 bites of the cherry, which is really exciting. It's really exciting. Okay. Where are we at, guys? No new signals on the NASDAQ. Okay. What I want for the long range NASDAQ traders is I want to push through this 50 here. As I want to push through that 50. That would be amazing. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. So 30-minute charts have just closed. Okay. If you are long on the FDAX, guys, if you are long on the FDAX off the S1, Cody or Damsey or anybody, guys, your dream fantasy target is the 50 fib of the day. That is just divine, absolutely divine. If you are on that, it's brilliant. NASDAQ traders, again, if you are long, have I got anyone long on NASDAQ, like Cole for a 100-tick target, please? Right, we've got traders long on FDAX. Okay, well done. So FDAX traders, again, I need you to hold. I need you to watch. No, okay, Cole, it's all right. We'll get you another one. Okay. All right, so for the FDAX traders, your first port of call are those 76 Fibonacci's there, which we're failing at the moment. Okay, so these guys are famous. This is the evil twins. These guys are famous for failing at the evil twins. So if they are failing there, guys, then what I would do if I'm on a really long range trade, I'd make sure I've locked in a big chunk of profit. Okay, now Nazi traders, your 4-point turning bar, guys, first time round only went around about 35 ticks or so to the high side. They came back down lower low. They reset the signal. Then you got a black delta. As from that delta, we've gone 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So I would make sure, guys, I've locked in a really good amount of profit. You guys are dealing with the same Fibonacci issue the FDAX is dealing with. So see that 76 fib failure, otherwise known as the evil twins. We've got the same thing occurring. We've got the same thing occurring on the NASDAQ. Okay, so again, for the Nazi traders, we need to move through these 76s, and we need to dominate over the top of them. Guys, if we don't move through those 76s, the long range NASDAQ targets, guys, will start to get eaten away by sellers. Okay. Kay, you got plus 50 long on the 4-point turning bar on the reset, Kay. That's a beautiful trade. So guys, what Kay is talking about is in terms of a reset trade, what he's talking about is the 4-point turning bar set, guys. Then we got the retrace, then we got the rejection. So a number of people went long for profit. Okay. The sellers have come back down again. They were very, very unimpressive. That's why we got all the black diamond deltas. It's the buyers coming in saying, you know what, the sellers are completely stuffed. He's re-entered long on a reset, and it's gone through his target. Cody, sorry, mate, just got your message. The access to the masterclass. Guys, let me show you. Let me show you. Wait, let me get that off. That was my. That's why I've been working with working with a company in Australia, actually structuring a company. Just hold on one sec. Okay. So guys, again, let me just bring this up for you. 33 minutes. Okay, if you want to come along to the class tonight, guys, right there. Guys, can everybody see this? Okay, that one right there, that's where you want to go. All right, so just go to samuraidaytrading.com. Guys, click on there, and we're running that on the last Thursday of every month. Guys, basically helping people from around the world. You don't have to be a member. Guys, to attend that. All right, so anybody can come and attend. We're going to be doing stair stepping tonight, which is, dare I say it, one of the oldest technical analysis methods in the world, which is brilliant. Now, for my S&P 500 traders, guys, did anyone on the S&P either trade the static bar reversal long, or you got that little delta as a backup there? Because if you have, guys, you're looking for a 4-tick target, an 8-tick target, and then whatever you can get. That's gone around 16, 20, around about 28 ticks to the high side. So Cody, there's the answer. Thank you. There's the answer. Now, FDAX traders who are long for long range targets, particularly if you're long off the S1, okay, that's where the market is failing, right? That's where the market is failing just there. What does that ultimately mean? Is that we are likely on FDAX to get a sell down. So we're likely on FDAX to get a sell down. What does that ultimately mean? Guys, what does that ultimately mean? If you are long for long range targets, the 50 fib of the day, if they can't close over that 50 fib, guys, nice little surge of buying at the end of the candle. If they can't close over the 50, which they have, we would look to reduce our exposure in the market, which is obviously positive. If they sell down to the 50, guys, and push back up to the 76s, if they can't push through, then the long range traders, I would lock in even more profit. Okay, Rakesh, can you email info at Samurai? So info at Samurai Day Trading, and just say, hey, can this be turned on? There's obviously a glitch in the back of the system, and it's turning people on and off randomly, which is very strange. So, mate, if you can, email Samurai headquarters, we'll be able to fix that for you straight away. And again, we may have to reset. The back of the area to make sure it's bopping along. So for those that are long on FDAX, you're coming back into the 76 fibs again, right? So again, if you are long for long range targets, you need them to punish these 76 fibs and move through really, really nicely. Whereas if they don't, you are going to get a short-term, you are going to get a little bit of a short-term sell down. Whereas you will get a little bit of a short-term sell down. Let me have a look here. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, I'm just analyzing, guys, what they're doing. So I'd suggest if you're on a long signal, guys, on the FDAX, whether you picked up the S1 reversal here, the delta, any of these trades, guys, if you've got the capacity to stay long on FDAX, it'll probably end up being an absolutely incredible trade. Right, no doubt about that. I would suggest at this stage we might see a bit of a sell down. Guys, might see a little bit of a sell down again before the buyers take the initiative on that one. Okay. Looking for new trades, guys. We're 37 minutes into the session at this stage. So 37 minutes into the session at this stage. We were looking for long range longs, guys. We spoke about that at the start of the day. So we got an initial meltdown. That actually went quite well. So the initial meltdown went quite well. And then it's all about letting these sellers basically run out of steam and then grab them and send them back the other way. Okay. Looks like the NASDAQ, guys, maybe. I mean, we're still buying, we're still bopping along. Do I have any NASI traders that re-entered the 4-point turning bar and are trying to hold for longer range targets? Raymond, you got a 21 off the efficient candle. Well done. Well done. I'd suggest that Fibonacci has expired. I'd suggest the buyers. Anyway, here we go. No, right, FDAX is often. Yeah, Eddie, you're still long on the S&P, mate. It's a beautiful trade, absolutely beautiful trade. So S&P 500 traders, you've got your static bar reversal long, obviously double deltas in there, which is hilarious. Then you've got another delta. You've got a 4-point turning bar long. The sellers have come back down again, basically tested the 50 of the day, reloaded the 4-point turning bar, and it's just started climbing to the high side, which is really good. So Eddie, you're on the right side of the market. Anybody long on the FDAX, as we said, we were looking for long range longs. Anybody who is long, you are also on the right side of the market. There is no question about that at all. Back into our chart analysis, guys, if we get much higher than this on the FDAX, we are closing back into very, very strong long range long signals. Okay, well done. Lungisi is still long on the FDAX. So the challenge, right? The challenge is to close above this level. All right, we want to close above that level, which we may do. If we do, then you've just picked up the buying off a whole lot of other charts, guys, which is really quite exciting. So for the FDAX traders, again, for the FDAX traders, if we do close above that little black line there, we spoke about that earlier. If we close above the black line, guys, or we jump over the black line, this is going to be an efficient buying candle long. So it will be an efficient buying candle long. All we need to see is the sellers sell down inside the new candle. So need a little bit of selling to sell down, and then we're going to pick up a buy signal. All right, so what are they doing? They've closed over it, then gapped under it. Okay, so that's okay. If you can hold the risk on the FDAX, now depending on your risk profile, some of you might need to switch to the top of the pre-market. Thank you, mate. Some of you may need to switch to the micro contract in order to go long on the FDAX. I'm just looking at the entry price. Guys, the entry price is 836. The deal with an 836 entry long, guys, let me just have a look at where your 76s are. Let me just put that there for a moment. Okay. What it means for the FDAX traders is you've got a potential failure point in the market sitting here at 842. Okay, with another one at 846. So
Lockie,
what that means,
5-minute 141 there too.
Okay, thank you. So what it means is you can go long provided you've got an early first target and an early risk control point. Now, what's going to add context is we're going to draw our Fibonacci. I just drew it upside down. So let me just grab that again. I'm going to draw my Fibonacci, guys, to catch them on the way down. Right, so normally the FDAX will sell down to a Fibonacci and fail badly, guys, and that's going to fuel, that failure is now going to fuel the buyers to come in, break outside the range of that candle. So again, guys, if you're going to go long at 86, your first target must be 41, and you must be able to hold the risk on the candle. And that risk is a little bit crazy for beginner traders. Slightly more senior traders, you may be happy with the risk. All right, so what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to say, you guys have retraced down, you failed at Fibonacci, got very strong buying presence on both European markets. Again, guys, what may keep you out of this trade is the risk. Okay, now, again, please don't let me romance you into taking a trade that's got too much risk. Guys, particularly if you've had a really good trading session already. Just going to switch these Fibonacci's round. Guys, because those that are long on the S&P or the NASDAQ, guys, the buyers are in control of these markets, there's no doubt. FDAX, again, we're looking for the buyers to push through these 76s. It's only for those people that can hold the risk. Guys, as Cody said, there's going to be Fibonacci extensions here as well. Whoop, wrong button. Okay, let me just have a look. Okay, so it's going to be a Fibonacci extension hiding in here as well. Yeah, right in the middle. I've got the Fibonacci extension sitting right in the middle of that 76 fib. Okay, so What does it ultimately mean, guys? If you're long from the S1 or any of these deltas down the bottom, then all you're doing is you're basically locking in more and more and more and more profit. If we do close back over this long, guys, it's from the 4-hour chart and again 60-minute chart and others. If we do close over that, we're probably going to see an FDAX push back to its open. Probably see its push back to its open. You guys are keeping a very close eye on what that does. Certainly no new trades in the last 90 seconds, please. Let me just double check my Fibonacci's correct. It looks okay at this point in time. Okay, it looks okay at this point. All right, let's see what they do. Now, again, guys, the risk on the trade, normally for the FDAX, we don't get into trades with more than 20 to 25 points worth of risk. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's around about a 40-pointer. I say, again, for those that are used to what we do, you'll know that. For those that are not used to what we do, Raymond, well done. For those that are not used to what we do, we don't get into trades on the FDAX with more than 20 to 25 points worth of risk, only because the FDAX will give us far better trades like it did down here with far less risk. All right, so that's the reason why we don't have to take big risk trades. We simply don't have to do it. Now, again, I'm going to start cleaning up those Fibonacci's. Okay, the reason being is it looks like, again, the S&P. Greg, are you long on the S&P 500? The S&P has given us an incredible long. We actually had this drawn on the chart. Guys, over here, didn't we? There's the strong 60-minute long. No, okay, cool. So again, guys, if you are long on those deltas down the bottom there, Eddie is long. Guys, then well done, Eddie. That's brilliant. Okay, absolutely brilliant. FDAX 45 minutes into the session. So for the FDAX traders, we're not looking for another trade entry. What we're looking for is, again, well, the only thing we're allowed to trade on the FDAX, guys, in the pre-market, the only thing we're allowed to trade in the last 15 minutes is a pivot-based reversal. Now, these sellers are selling down, guys. Cody nailed these Fibonacci extensions. So they're selling down off the 141.4 Fib extension. So they're selling down off that. Again, we'll see what the Europeans do, because if this sell campaign fails, then we're probably going to turn around, push back through those 76 fibs, go for the open, and maybe even go for the gap. All right, so we'll just see what they're doing. Nazi, so Nazi has produced a what we refer to as a static bar reversal. So it's a -2 rated SPR. Guys, it's back into the middle of the trend indicator, which is normally not a trade we take. S&P 500's in the same boat, and S&P 500's trading off a gap. Guys, so at this stage, I've got no new trades for the NASDAQ traders. And I've got no new trades for the FDAX. Cody, your Fibonacci went absolutely on the money. Right, if I get rid of that line, guys, that was that big buy signal we're looking at. That 141.4 Fib extension is absolutely brilliant. Because normally that's where the FDAX kind of mucks around before it does anything else. That's why the market is actually closed there and actually gapped underneath it.
There's also a new 15-minute 50. So you can draw it on the 5-minute chart as well, right from the top.
Okay. Right from the, as in the gap itself?
Just above the gap, the next high above the gap, around 981.
Got it.
That lines up well too.
Okay. So we'll leave that on for the moment. Guys, there will be a Fibonacci from all the way up the top here. This absolutely brilliant. So what it means, guys, is, again, that's called the gap. That's called the gap Fibonacci. Flip side being is the market's basically traded back to the gap 50. If we close over that, we're going to pick up more longs. Guys are going to pick up more longs, and they're going to try and run it to the high side. S&P and NASDAQ, I'm looking at these guys cruise down, guys. We're not going to reverse long off the 50 of the day at this stage. Again, the reason being subject for tonight's little we're doing is the buyer zone, the stair step. So a buying base reversal is not a good idea. The buying base reversal down the bottom here was incredible. If you were able to take either the static bar reversal or the deltas, that was incredible. Okay, because again, sellers own the stair step. We're looking for buying at the moment, guys. The buyers on a stair step on FDAX. We don't normally sell the market down back into the middle of the trend indicator because typically the market runs out of steam there. So we'll see if that's a relatively smart decision. Steve, you got plus 60 on the NASDAQ ×4. That's a very, very good trade, mate. Well done, mate. Off the 61.8. Okay, so well done. Absolutely brilliant. The S1 reversal, guys, on FDAX was clearly the easiest today by a very, very long way. That was very, very straightforward. If you waited for the push down through the S1 and then you took any of these, particularly those two doubles just there, if you took those there, guys, the market has literally just rocketed in your favor, which is always good fun, guys. When you make a good trade decision and the market agrees with you, then you know that you're on the right side of the market, okay, which is really good fun. 15 minute, okay, mate, that's fine. So guys, last 15 minutes of the hour, we don't normally take any new trades in the last 15 minutes, with the exception of a pivot-based reversal. As now, again, the sellers sold down really well on the open. No, they sold down really, really well on the open, and then they have sold down really well on the open. Then they gave us some incredible reversals. The NASDAQ. As the NASDAQ, that -2 rated SBR, that's probably the trade of the day on the NASDAQ. If you couldn't get it, guys, again, the deltas associated with it, or the deltas outside the range as we started to run, or the 4-point turning bar, it's all gone. It's all gone to plan, which is good, except the short down the bottom. Guys, so we had the short down here with around about 100 ticks of risk. Let me just double check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 100, in fact, 140 ticks of risk, which is 3 times our normal risk profile. That's 3 times. So again, if you're watching your risk, guys, again, for the Nazi, I wouldn't take a trade with more than 40 to 50 ticks at risk. The only reason being is we're going to get trades that have got significantly less risk that offer far better potential. You don't need to get on, guys, monster candles if you choose not to. Okay, you don't have to do that. Now, guys, are there any questions at all? We're in the last 10 minutes. Again, I was actually expecting these guys to try and sell down to 20,000 because it's such a round number. So if the sellers were to get a wriggle on, then we may see them try and target 20,000 as a round number. We're just waiting for the Europeans to determine what they want to do. Now, again, the FDAX, guys, the long trade into Fibonacci, as we've discovered, also over the risk profile, that one is actually negative. Guys, that's a negative trade. Once again, though, if you're trading the FDAX, you shouldn't need to risk more than 20 to 25 points on a trade as a really good sort of risk mitigation tool. Again, if you're on the trade, guys, it's a negative. If you're not on the trade because the risk is too much, that's why you don't take that trade. And we're also in the last 15 minutes, so we don't do anything on the FDAX in particular, unless we get a pivot-based reversal. Now, let me have a look there. Okay. Lockie, fair to say buyers getting tired on, oh, absolutely, Juice, 100%. Again, so what we're going to get, guys, the buyers are their buyers have gone, guys. So the buyers have run out of steam, guys, at the open of the 240-minute chart and also the previous daily close. So they've run out of steam. Technically, guys, I could send you short, again, because we've got that little -2 rated static bar reversal. I could send you short, but we don't normally trade back through the trend indicator back into the 50 fib of the day. If the NASDAQ closes under the 50 fib of the day, guys, which we've got 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go, if it does close under, then we are looking at a very, very strong sell signal. The problem is the timing, guys. We're going to be 5 minutes before the hour turns. So what we should be doing instead is looking for the static trades that are going to basically occur in the turn of the new hour. So on the turn of the new hour, if we were to sell down, we want to catch them at Fibonacci, and then we want to grab this assortment of buy signals going back the other way. Okay, now again, let's again start getting ready for that. All right, so we're going to draw my Fibonacci up to catch them on the way down. Okay, draw them up to catch them on the way down. Ideally, what I need the sellers to steal the stair step. So it would be magic if the sellers sell down here. As now, if they can't, they're going to get caught on a far shorter range Fibonacci like that one there. Okay, now in a perfect world, FDAX is, what is the FDAX doing? Failing at multiple pivots. All right, let me just clean up this. All right, let me just clean up the chart a little bit. Now, the sellers, so have a look at it. The sellers were failing badly. Okay, interesting point. Oh, sorry, the buyers were failing badly. That's an interesting point. 50 fib of the day is a pivot. All right, these deltas here, that's institutional orders being positioned in the market to go short. We would never go short, guys, assuming a close over the 50 fib. Now, I'd suggest the sellers may have another crack. Guys, they might have another crack, which is fine. We want them to sell down and fail inside the new hour, which is 5 minutes and 12 seconds away, so we can pick up these longs again. I said that it'd be very, very interesting to see what these guys do. Obviously, the Europeans have tried to sell down very, very hard. That's not going very well for them. Okay, we're into the last 5 minutes of the hour. What's into the last 5 minutes? Okay, now we've been watching, guys. It'll be the bigger traders that are coming in now. The 60-minute chart traders will be thinking about positioning their trades. All right, so don't get romanced, guys, in the last 5 minutes. We've got a lower low, guys, on both US 15-minute charts, which means we're loading 15-minute longs. Guys, we've got an incredible 30-minute long on the NASDAQ. And same S&P 500. So again, we might not get the sell down I was looking for. I was looking for a sell down inside the new hour, but we'll just let the new hour come to us. Notice these buyers are very, very, very strong. So once the sellers sold down, they blew all of their volume trying to get through the 50 fib of the day. Buyers are now coming back in again saying, ha ha, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, geez, it does change, and it's a great lesson. That's why we never assume a close. We never assume a close. We never assume a close over a pivot, because quite often, so what will happen is, particularly towards the end of the hour, people are starting to get tired. They see these guys selling down. They're like, oh my gosh, they're running without me. I'll just push the sell button. And in actual fact, these sellers were actually assuming a close over the 50 fib of the day, which is a very, very dumb thing to do. So the silly traders ran in, the big traders just sat in the background waiting to smack them. And that's exactly what's just occurred. Well, they've been doing it for a long time. These markets generally just don't change the way that they move. So these guys have been doing it for a long time. And so the markets become very, very predictable. Very, very predictable indeed. Okay, so I'm just adjusting fibs in the background. So guys, I got personally, I got the trades on the opening candle, which has gone quite well. Again, if you're an opening candle trader, then the FDAX absolutely tanked. Again, we had to wait, guys. And again, if you're a static trader, again, the S1 trade or that static bar reversal for the FDAX traders, absolutely incredible trades. Okay, and it's gone really, really well. Now, guys, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. The buyers are back. There is no question about that. Eddie, you've had a good day. Are you still long on the S&P, mate? Have you brought a trailing stop up to knock yourself out? If you are still long, mate, well done. You're still long? So sorry, I've asked you 2 questions there. So again, guys, really, really good sell down on European Open. We're expecting long range buys today. That's exactly what we've got right across the board. And now we just wait for the turn of the hour and we start to get very, very careful. As you're up $1,000, mate. That's brilliant. Right. So well done. That's a solid result. Right, solid result. Okay, now 1 minute and 42 seconds to go. Guys, we're just waiting now, so don't enter a trade now, guys. The last 90 seconds of this candle is notoriously unpredictable. FDAX, guys, Cody's Fibonacci 1 today on FDAX, so absolutely brilliant. Again, we've been given risk lessons on both markets, guys, and that if the risk is too much for a particular trade, just wait for one that is really, really safe. For the FDAX traders at this point in time, we would be looking for there's our market break point above us. Okay. At this stage for the DAX traders and NASDAQ traders, you guys have gone climactic. So see the amount of volume these buyers are using. That mustard green candle says the buyers are now in trouble, right? They've invested too much. What does it mean? Guys, it means in 46 seconds, if they close under the gap and these 76s and they don't gap over them, you guys are looking for a climactic reversal short. Okay, meaning that the buyers are using way too much volume. What I would love to see, guys, and again, they may not give it to me. I want to see the buyers push up inside the new hour and fail before we sell. Now, that's getting pretty fussy. But again, don't mind being fussy. If they close over, guys, if they close over this level, we can't take the trade. Right, FDAX, you're looking for the buyers to push up, guys, through the open inside the new hour, and you're looking for a short. Okay, so for the FDAX traders, okay, we need the buyers to push up everywhere. Guys, NASDAQ, you're on the wrong side of the pivot, so you can't go short. FDAX, if you're waiting for the buyers to push up and then going short, if you're waiting for that to occur, I'd suggest your entry on FDAX is 860. Your first target and risk control point is 855. Okay, so you're waiting for the buyers to push up, which they're doing at the moment. Waiting for them to push up, just let them push up away from the pivot. What's the FESX doing, guys? The FESX is actually over. So, right, FESX is on the other side of its yesterday's low, guys, on the wrong side of the pivot. So for the FDAX traders, your selling trade does not have agreement from the FESX. What it ultimately means, guys, is your selling trade on the FDAX at 860. It'll be the FDAX running by itself. There's nothing wrong with the sell, provided you put your order on at 860, you've got a risk control point at 855, and these buyers don't go too far on this candle, otherwise the risk on the trade is going to be too much. Now, I wanted to be short on the NASDAQ. This is not fair. I wanted to be short on the NASDAQ, and as it turns out, guys, they jumped over the pivot, and we're not going to assume a close over a pivot. Guys, we don't do that. So therefore, again, we're not going to break our rules. I was looking for a higher high, guys. I got a match high. So therefore, what's going on the NASDAQ is not normally what they do. So that's okay. We'll just wait for the next trade. That next trade, guys and girls, would be really, really simple. If this little candle sells down, if they sell down, sell down, sell down and can't go anywhere, then we're looking to actually join the buyers. Okay, now we're not going to use that delta because it's straight into a pivot. We would need to be over the top of this candle plus here. So we're looking for a buying opportunity above. Guys, we're looking for a buying opportunity above the candle here with a delta. So we've got a whole lot of caveats. FDAX at this stage, you don't want your buyers pushing much further. Guys, you don't want the buyers pushing much further. Otherwise, your short at 860 is going to have too much risk. At the moment, the buyers are putting a lot of volume into the FDAX and they're not going anywhere at all. NASDAQ, you're looking for a delta in my yellow box, please. So I just see what these guys do. Let's see what they do. Okay, FDAX, we also don't want to enter in the last 90 seconds. So the sellers on the FDAX have got to really start to show some attitude, guys, and around the next sort of 25 seconds. If they don't, guys, again, that's okay. We'll just wait for the next trade. There's so many trades. Now, I would suggest they might be using the pre-top Fibonacci as well. Oops, sorry. They might be using this Fibonacci. They are. Okay. So what it means is what it ultimately means is, again, for the FDAXs, we're waiting for the buyers to push through. We're now in the last 90 seconds, so we're not going to put our short on, guys, at 860. NASDAQ, guys, you're just picking up the long I was talking about. Okay, that little black diamond delta there is a very, very strong sign. The NASDAQ is actually going to move to the high side. Now, the pros and cons. As the pros and cons, again, the delta's there. It's a very, very strong buying signal. Very strong buying signal. If I was going long on the NASDAQ, guys, again, I'm going to give you a 20 tick, basically 20 tick first target and risk control point. I would want the NASDAQ, guys, to close above the gap and the 76s. Ideally, I want it to pump through the top of that box, but I certainly want, after that initial sell down, as I want the buyers to push into the market and basically stay above the gap and above the 76s. Okay, now the delta came up, guys, in the last 90 seconds of the candle. It's a very, very strong mathematical algorithm. We've just got to be careful we don't get on the wrong side of the pivot. Okay, so let's just watch what they do. FDAX, you're not taking a trade in the last 90 seconds. So you guys are now waiting to close underneath the open and stay under the open. Okay, so you must stay under the open in order to get a trade. So 2 seconds. So FDAX, no trades. NASDAQ, no new trades. No new trades. Ironically, the sellers and buyers on the NASDAQ have done exactly what we want them to do. I have to keep an eye on this little S&P 500 down here. Again, for the Nazi traders, effectively, I want a relatively shallow retrace. It's a relatively shallow retrace and a violent rejection because we've had a really, really good trading session so far, guys. I don't want to start, again, if the market starts mucking around and closing inside the range of candles and other stuff, we don't want to continue taking trades. So FDAX, you've got no trades at this stage. The market is on the wrong side of a pivot for a trade. NASDAQ, what has the S&P 500 done? So S&P has come into a previous 240 close, so that's okay. I want the sellers here on the NASDAQ, guys, to get absolutely walloped. Okay, so we're not going short. Again, we're on the wrong side of the pivot to go short. Now, normally that would suggest that we were going to go long. We got that delta, guys, in the last 90 seconds of the candle. Now, the delta is a very strong algorithm. The flip side being is it was in the last 90 seconds. Now, we know what that means. We know what that means. Again, it means that, again, the next trade may take a little while to get some momentum behind it. Right, Europeans are trying to buy, so no new trades on FDAX, guys, no new trades on NASDAQ. It's a 61.8 fib retrace. I don't really want them going much further than that. So for those that are long, guys, for those that are long, I know I've got traders that are long on that delta. Guys, I know you're long. Again, I don't want the sellers coming much lower than where they are at the moment. We got a nice little sniff of buyers coming into the market. What we're going to do, guys, what we're going to do with the NASDAQ is at this stage, we're going to give the buyers basically 2 minutes to give us an idea of what they're doing. If we get a really, really nasty selling candle against us, we will have to reduce the risk on the delta trade. Okay, now this 76 fib retrace, again, we don't want them much lower than that. There's no doubt about that. Because it starts to affect our risk control points and our longer range targets as well. Okay, so let me just get rid of that. We know what the Fibonacci's are doing. Looks like, guys, it looks like these evil twins are going to get in the way of my delta trade here, which is really annoying. So what we can do, guys, we're going to give these guys 90 seconds. I don't think this delta trade is going to go well. Now, what I should have done is I should have drawn your attention, Mark, yeah, I should have drawn your attention to the fact that delta came up in the last 90 seconds. Guys, I should have done that. 1, 2, 3. We are definitely in the third leg of movement, so we are favoring shorts, not longs. So again, that trade, that delta trade here on the Nasdaq is within a whisker of stopping out. So it may be a negative trade. It may be a negative trade. I'm going to give the buyers, we're going to let the candle close before we judge who's going to do what. Okay, at this stage, FDAX, I can't give you a new trade yet. What I'm looking for is the FESX. I want the FESX to close underneath the pivot before we go short on the FDAX. Right, so we've just got to watch what they do. So for the NASDAQ traders, guys, please make sure that, again, you've got a stop loss in place. We're going to get, again, we're going to get an ugly selling candle against our trade. And again, I can't send you short and I can't send you long, right? So we may actually end up with a losing trade here, guys. And I should have mentioned that that delta was in the last 90 seconds. I should have mentioned that. Okay, so that's my fault. So as that is going to be a losing trade, that'll be a losing trade on the NASDAQ. If you did trade the delta, okay, my fault, was completely my fault. It was in the last 90 seconds. I should have seen that. Okay, should have seen that. Now, what does it mean, guys? What does it mean? If your stop is positioned under the candle that created the delta, it's a losing trade. If your stop is down underneath the big green candle, it's not a losing trade, but I'm going to count it as a losing trade. That's because, again, I called you into it. For the FDAX traders, if the buyers retrace here, guys, you're looking for that static bar reversal short, right? So again, you're looking for a short on the market as at 856. Now that is a static bar reversal. Obviously, both of the European markets have closed below the pivot. Whereas you can wait for the buyers to push up. If they push well above the open, you're looking for an open base reversal. If they can't push up to the open very well, guys, you're looking for a static bar reversal short at 856. Now, if you are going to go short at 856, guys, your first target is 851. Okay, so if you are going to go short at 856, your first target is 851. Okay, now at this stage, as we've had one sell down, we'll potentially get a second sell down. This is the second sell down on FDAX. It's normally the second sell down, guys, which does some of the damage. All right, now if we need to wait on the FDAX for a third sell down, guys, we need to question what the buyers versus sellers are doing. So for the FDAX, I'm going to give them one more sell down. As if you are over your daily goal, so if you've already traded the FDAX very well, please don't let me romance you into taking other trades, particularly if you're over your daily KPI. Right? I'm well over my daily KPI on the FDAX. So if you are short, guys, at 856, right, straight through your first target on FDAX at 851. Your second target is 846. You're straight through your second target as well. So for the FDAX traders that were looking for a static bar reversal with a pivot influence, that's the exact trade you're looking for. The risk is acceptable. The trade has run perfectly. Exactly what I was expecting the NASDAQ to do, guys, but it just didn't play the game. So if you are an FDAX trader, guys, and you've taken the static bar reversal short, it's got a -15 rating on it, which means it's incredibly strong. All we did is wait for the sellers to come back under the pivot, wait for the buyers to push up to the open. We've gone short on the SBR, guys, and that's obviously gone straight through the first target and the second target. So please cut your risk off, guys, if you're going for a long range short, guys, if you are going for a long range short trade on the FDAX, guys, please cut your risk off. So you've got nothing at risk and let the profit run. Mark, back to you. Mate, 100%. What I should have said to everybody on the NASDAQ is the delta has just been created in the last 90 seconds. Sometimes those trades struggle. What we're going to do is wait for the new candle and then put the entry on, and we would have avoided a losing trade. So guys, look, I believe we've had a pretty good session so far. If you're trading inside your risk profile, guys, that trade's unlucky. So we've clearly had a loss. No question about that. No question about that. We've had a loss, and then we'll basically, guys, we'll seek to go and get it back again. Not a revenge trade. Not a revenge trade. ES 60 minutes short, Greg. Let me have a quick look. You are correct, guys. So the 60-minute chart traders, guys, are actually looking at shorts. MJ, you got a 10 and a 20 off the FDAX. Okay, but that's a very good trade. So, mate, well done. That's a very, very good trade. Okay, and that's okay. If you're practicing, it's all good. And now we wait, guys. What we're ultimately looking for, guys, 15 minutes into the new hour is what are the 15-minute charts doing? I was looking forward to hold the DAX long. Yeah, so the DAX has basically gone through, right? So again, the long from down here is an incredible trade. We've come up here to effectively, basically back to where the FDAX has failed. Right? It's again, it's a huge trade. If you are long from down here, guys, any of this stuff we were doing down here off the S1, it's got to be at least well, we'll do it 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. It's about 120 point trade, guys. So for us on futures, we'll do the maths on it. It's got to be over 120 points, but let's just say it's 120 points times 40 Australian dollars per point. It's a $4,800 trade. Now, all the FDAX has done, guys, is gone back to where it basically started and then said, you know what, we can't go up any further. It's ultimately because of these Fibonacci's. So if we were to close over the top of those Fibonacci's, then it's going to continue to run, and it's probably going to move all the way back to its gap, which is not unexpected for these guys. But they'll probably do it, guys. They'll probably do it basically in the post Euro lunch move. They'll do it. Cody, you've got a 15-minute SBR and NQ. Okay. So what we want, guys, at this point in time for again for the NASDAQ traders, we can't assume a close over the gap. Right? So we can't assume a close over the gap. Again, we're back into these 76 fibs. Guys, now again, that delta is incredible, but we're not going to trade it until we get back over. Yeah, we're not going to trade it until we get back over. If we did see the Europeans, so at this stage, so the buyers own the stair step on the European markets. If the buyers do push back through, again, if we start getting higher highs through here on the FDAX, if they push through here and they just can't go any higher, then we're looking for another reversal on FDAX. At this stage, we don't have the higher high yet. Your volume, guys, on FDAX is also starting to look a little bit suspect. All right, your volume is looking a bit suspect. As in the volume on FDAX is starting to get a little bit low, guys. So the market might become a little bit twitchy. So let's just watch very carefully as to what happens with the volume. Let's just see what happens with the volume. I'm just watching, guys, just watching. If we do get a very large buying candle here, guys, if we do get a very large buying candle on the FDAX, it's 2 minutes and 26 seconds away. If we were to get that and we got an agreement from the FESX, then we'd be going long. At this stage, we're looking for a short. Right, so the buyers have pushed through on the FDAX. Again, the better short, guys, is underneath the open. What does that mean, guys? You're looking, the open's at 62. You're looking for a short at 60 with a first target of 55. Your backup trade is the static bar reversal on the left-hand side. Guys, now if you need another FDAX trade, okay, again, you're looking at an 856 entry. I prefer the buyers pushing up, guys, and entering under the open. But I'm also not going to enter the FDAX in the last 90 seconds of the candle. Now, NASDAQ, you're about to pick up a static bar reversal short. Now, if we did pick up a static bar reversal short, so again, we're waiting 90 seconds to see if that candle actually does what it's meant to do. The buyers are pushing through here. I'm just watching the FESX, guys, because if the buyers get back above this pivot on the FESX, we don't want to be short on the FDAX. All right, now we're into the last 90 seconds. So FDAX traders, I would not put a new trade on, please. Let's see what's going on with the FESX. For the NASDAQ traders, we are going to pick up a static bar reversal short. There's no question about that. That's if it closes under the 76 fibs. If we close over the 76 fibs, then that delta is again tradable. And if you did take a loss on the delta, guys, you do want to go for a longer range target, please. All right, so now we're basically waiting to see what these guys do. Okay, at the moment. Again, for the FDAX traders, we don't want to execute a trade in the last 90 seconds. Cody, are you talking, mate, 15 minutes, are you talking short or long? Talking short or long? Nazi, so 10 seconds to go, guys. At this stage, yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. NASDAQ, we're going to close over the gap. It means we can't take the short. Okay, so it means we can't take the short. We can only go long, guys. We can only go long. Now, that being said, guys, we've got the delta there. It's going to have around about 80 ticks of risk. So again, it's slightly over our risk profile. So I would suggest at this stage, it's probably not a good idea to go long. For the FDAX traders, we've closed under the open on both markets. So it means that if you are short on the FDAX, guys, with a 860 short, if you're short at 860, your first target is 855. Whereas your second target is 850. So if you are short, guys, on the FDAX, we're waiting for that candle to close. They closed under the open, gapped up, but stayed under the open. You may be short, guys, off the pivot at 860. If you are, your first target is 855, second target is 850. Okay, now at this stage, for the Nazi traders, we're probably going to see a sell down first, guys, before the buying resumes. All right, now, I don't know if I've got any FDAX traders on the short. Guys, if you are on the short, Carlos, well done. If you are on the short on FDAX, it's going very, very well. Okay, so again, your entry, guys, 860, first target, second target. It's gone as far as a third target, or you may have traded the static bar reversal over here, guys. Again, if you've traded that with a minus 15 rating, it's a very strong candle. It's also going through its target again. Okay, so it's also gone through its target. Right, now I'm just waiting to see what happens, guys. We're 22 minutes into the second hour. Normally, by this point in time, most people have finished trading. We did have a loss, guys, or Cole did have a loss down the bottom here, guys, on this short that had a lot of risk on it. So I should have actually told everybody at the time. The risk is way over 100 ticks. So again, that means that the vast majority of traders can't take it. Guys, we then had this static bar reversal long, which a number of people got onto. We then got the 4-point turning bar, which was, again, a really good little signal. As once they came down and retested the sellers and failed, that's when the market took off to the high side, which was really good. So what it means, we're going to have a myriad of different results today, guys. The FTX traders are probably very positive. The S&P traders are probably very positive. The early NASDAQ traders who couldn't go short went long. They're also very positive. And then we've had a loss at the top, guys, which is a little bit annoying. But we do occasionally get losing trades. Now, mind you, that losing trade is my fault, guys, because the delta came in the last 90 seconds of the candle. So that is something that is definitely worth watching out for. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So, guys, again, if the FTX traders, if you're short under the SBR or you're short under the open, with all of the discussions we've been having over here, if you are short on those, the short trades are going very, very well. Guys, now that Delta V2 there has got too much risk. Andy, my pleasure. The Delta has got too much risk. So effectively, guys, we've got to be really, really, really careful that we don't get caught on the wrong side of that one. Just having a look. Okay. All right. So guys, all in all, I think we've done okay today. We haven't needed to trade. Jeff, maybe you could code an algo to show no delta in the last 90. We could do that very easily. And we could do that very easily. Oh, guys, Celine is here. The big boss. Arlen is away. So guys, Celine, I'll grab that camera back again. So guys, we've had, Celine, we've had a reasonable day. The traders that got in really early on the FTX did quite well. Those that waited for the sell down, as we expected, and then bought the market, have had an absolute blinder. NASDAQ, we had a losing trade at the top of the chart. Apart from that, we've had a loss down the bottom for those that can carry a massive amount of risk. For those that can't, we've had nothing but they did very, very well. There's no question about that. So, guys, that's again, we're not going to get any new trades. We won't get any new trades for the session simply because we're now starting to trade sideways. So guys, if you are available, guys, for the support meeting tonight, we'll run through the stair stepping on the charts. Guys, again, that'll be a good little session for everybody. So Celine, over to you as the big boss of the day. Thank you for having us once again.
How was it today? I could see a lot of movements and like a lot of interactions from what because I was watching in the back. I think it went pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, those that got on the right side of the longs had a great trade until we right at the change of the hour we had a loss on the NASDAQ. But apart from that, it's gone pretty good.
Lovely to see. I guess we're gonna wrap it up for today, guys. And I can see Cody in the back as well. So thank you both. By the way, guys, Cody shared with us his journey like 2 weeks ago about his life in Bali. If you haven't checked it out on our social media, might as well do that today. And I just want to extend like a thank you for both of you. And as usual, tune in next week, same time with Lachlan. Have a good